Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Uptown Duck, the classy gaming Canuck, and today, Knights of the Frozen Throne is finally out, which means we can finally open some packs. So, why don't we jump right in with the first one? Ooh, I like that animation. Okay, so first and foremost, now with the new stuff that Blizzard has implemented, we should be guaranteed at least 2 legendaries, so let's see what we get. Alright, pretty standard first pack. Shallow Gravedigger, 3 mana, 3/1, Death Rattle, add a random Death Rattle minion to your hand. Yeah, that's alright, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's not the best card. I also realized, before jumping into this, I feel like that it's only fitting Frostmourne. Make that the favorite. Alright, now we're really ready. 55 more packs to go. Let's go. Let's do this. Not 2 rares. Happy Ghoul. 3 mana, 3/3. Cost 0 if your hero is healed this turn. Pretty fantastic. And same with this one. Phantom Freebooter. 4 mana, 3/3. Battlecry gains stats equal to your weapons. Don't know if that's going to be standard playable. It's hard to tell this early on. But definitely a decent card in Arena. Mindbreaker, 3 mana, 2/5. Hero powers are disabled. Probably see some pretty interesting interactions with this guy. Now we got 2 commons in here that I really want to talk about. One is one of the most important cards of this set, Snowflipper Penguin. I'm just kidding. It's Righteous Protector, 1 mana, 1/1, Taunted Divine Shield. This card is way too powerful to be a 1-drop. Let's really hope that that's not going to be meta-defining. Despicable Dreadlord. I'm actually very excited to play this card. I think Control Warlock is coming back. 5 mana, 4/5. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Shadowblade. 3 mana, 3/2. Rogue card. Battlecry, your hero is immune this turn. Alright, not bad. Not bad. Ooh, 3 rares. So we got Doomed Apprentice, Mage card, 3 mana, 3/2. Your opponent's spells cost 1 more. So a little reverse on the Sorcerer's Apprentice, I think. And then we got Druid, 2 mana, 1/2. Choose 1. Transform into a 1/2 Poisonous or a 1/5 with Taunt. So a pretty flexible card depending on what you need for 2 mana. It's not bad. And then Exploding Bloatbat, 4 mana, 2/1, Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. And it's a beast, so it's got all that Beast Hunter synergy. And I think this card is a good thing, or a nice sign of things to come for Control Hunter. Alright, now that we're out of those initial 6 packs, let's get into the last 50. Come on, Legendary. Almost on call there. Rotface, 8 mana, 4/6 Warrior Legendary. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon a random Legendary minion. Could be really good, depending on how you build your deck. Could get a lot of Legendaries. Could be really bad, because, as it says, survives damage. So if he gets one-shotted, he's a waste of 8 mana. His stats aren't the greatest either. Ooh, we're in an epic, another Doomed Apprentice, and then Priest card, Obsidian Statue, 9 mana, 4/8 with Taunt, Lifesteal, and Death Rattle, destroy a random enemy minion. 9 mana is that weird mana spot for a lot of cards, but I think that this card will definitely excel. Maybe not meta-defining, because I feel like a lot of the meta-defining cards are in that mid-range area between 4 and 7, sometimes 8. But I think Obsidian Statue might be really, really good. Corpse Razor, 5 mana, 3/3, all classes. Battle Cry, give a friendly minion Death Rattle, resurrect this minion. So, pretty cool effect, you know. You got that shaman stuff going on with it, but now it's for all classes. Venom Strike, 2 mana, Hunter Secret. When one of your minions is attacked, summon a 2/3 Poisonous Cobra. Pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. Priest. Rare. Devour Mind. 5 mana. Copy 3 cards in your opponent's deck and add them to your hand. So basically a more powerful Thoughtseize for 2 more mana. Late game, yeah, this is really good if you're going to be playing Control Priest. I think maybe you're running one of these and then a couple Thoughtseizes, or one Thoughtseize and a couple of these. You know, it's a lot of value for you. Ooh, that's a good pack. So we already talked about these two, but Fate Spinner, 5 mana Druid card. Now, this is a card that I'm really interested to see how it plays out, because I would like to see a lot more of these secret death rattles, where you pick between deal 3 damage to all minions or give them all +2/+2. Depending on the way that the board state is, your opponent will probably know which one you're going for on this card, but maybe in the future we can see some other secret death rattles that could be pretty insane. Come on. Another Face Spinner. Defile. 2 mana Warlock spell. Deal 1 damage to all minions. If any die, cast this again. I absolutely love this card. I think this will be a really big help for Warlocks in dealing with early game aggression, which I feel they've suffered against a lot in recent expansions. So definitely a card to look out for. So, Mountain Fire Armor, 3 mana 4/3 warrior with Death Rattle. If it's your opponent's turn, gain 6 armor. So it's a pretty good threat for 3 mana on the board, and so your opponent's going to want to take it out. And if they do, you get 6 armor. So not bad. Gnome Feratu, 2 mana 2/3 warlock creature. I think this card is really interesting because it's a standard 2 mana 2/3, which we've seen a lot of already in this game. But the battle cry is remove the top card of your opponent's deck, which milling your opponent has always been a tactic that you can go for, but there's ways you have to set it up. This card just does it. So if you're lucky, you could just mill their win condition just right there. Golden Spellweaver, another Exploding Bloatbat. If you guys are wondering why I'm not talking about the commons, I think the video would be much too long if I did that, and I'll be doing a follow-up video where I'm going through each common individually, talking about which ones are worth it, and so on. So if you want to see something like that, definitely let me know. Corpse Widow, 5 mana 4/6 Hunter Beast. Your Death Rattle cards cost 2 less. Another one of those cards edging us towards Control Hunter, which has been something that hasn't really worked all that well in the past. But I think with all these new powerful cards coming in, it could actually work this time. 2 rares. Both Unwilling Sacrifice. Well, let's talk about both of them at the same time. 3 mana Warlock spell. Choose a friendly minion, destroy it, and a random enemy minion. Honestly, I think that there's better Warlock removal for Constructed, but we'll see. Valkyrie Soul Claimer. God, I can't say that. Valkyrie Soul Claimer. 3 mana 1/4 warrior. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon a 2/2 ghoul. So back with the Rot Face thing, really good if you can deal damage to it and have it survive. Really bad if it dies immediately in one shot. So unless you built your deck around it to do that, could be a really good card, could be a dead card. Abominable Bowman, 6 mana, 6/7 Hunter. With Death Rattle, summon a random friendly beast that died this game. Another one of those control Hunter cards, but if that deck isn't as good as Aggro Hunter, I don't know if people are going to play it. I would like to see it. Druid, 4 mana, 2/3, Strong Shell, Scavenger. Battlecry, give your taunt minions +2/+2. There's been a lot of good taunts that came out of this expansion, for Druid especially. So this card could be really, really powerful, but if you're in top deck mode and you get this guy, it's pretty bad for 4 mana. Huh. Roll the Bones, 2 mana rogue spell. Draw a card, if it has Death Rattle, cast this again. If you're running Death Rattle Rogue, could see a lot of value, could see nothing. It all depends on RNG at that point. And then 5 mana 3/3 Warrior Minion, Death Revenant. Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each damaged minion. So again, that self-inflict idea. If you have a Whirlwind or a Whirlwind effect that affects the entire board, and then play this guy for 5 mana, you could have a really, really, really big threat to deal with. So, could be good, but again, very dependent on what's been played or what you have in your hand. Another Death Revenant. Just keep going. Howling Commander. 3 mana 2/2 Paladin. Battlecry, draw a Divine Shield minion from your deck. So it gives you value immediately with that draw. If you're running a Divine Shield deck, you could get the one that you need. But for 3 mana, a 2/2 isn't really the best. That's not kind of the stats you want on 3 mana. Oh, cold and unwilling sacrifice. Okay, Druid, 10 mana spell, Ultimate Infestation. Deal 5 damage, draw 5 cards, gain 5 armor, then summon a 5/5 ghoul. This is a lot of value. That's why it's probably 10 mana, and you can't do anything else with your turn afterwards unless you have Innervates or something. So I think this card in Control Druid is going to be a really good card. I think it's going to be a good finisher. Either if you need that 5 damage to face, or you need to take out, or need help taking out a bigger threat on the board, and you get all that extra value, 5 armor, 5/5 ghoul, and 5 more cards in hand. If you top deck this card in the top decking phase at 10 mana, that's really good. Again, the only downside is it being 10 mana, so if you get that in your opening hand, it's kind of a dead card until you get there, and even then, you may not need it. Another Devour Mind. Okay, so Ticking Abomination, 4 mana, 5/6, Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to all your minions. So not all minions, just yours. So high stats, high risk. There are some combos that people have been talking about to make this card better, but it's really a big risk-reward thing. And now for the Warrior 2 mana spell, Bring It On, gain 10 armor, reduce the cost of your the minions in your opponent's hand by 2. Another big risk-reward card. You get a lot of health. Your opponent's next turn could be dropping a lot of stuff on the board to kill you. So for Control Warrior, I think this card is really good, especially late game. You need that armor, you need that extra health. And if your opponent doesn't really have a lot of cards in hand, I think it's worth it. I think it's way worth it. Another Corpse Widow. Another Mindbreaker, another Shallow Gravedigger. Come on, give me some more stuff. Give me some new stuff. New stuff, not another shallow gravedigger. Another roll the bones. There's gotta be another legendary in here somewhere. Ice Walker, 2 mana, 1/3 mage minion with the elemental tag, which is pretty good. Your hero power also freezes the target. This could get really annoying really fast. Especially with it being an elemental, so now it has elemental synergy. Its ability is really good, especially in the late game. I think this is a card to look out for Control Mage. Another Shadow Blade. Furnace Fire Colossus. 6 mana, 6/6. Battlecry, discard all weapons from your hand and gain their stats. So when you play it with no weapons, it's just a 6/6 for 6. Which isn't the worst. It's not bad, but, you know, it's not great either. But there could be a lot of cool combos where you beef this guy up to all just giant Furnace Fire Colossus, huge threat on the board. If they're not running Big Game Hunter or Hard Removal, this guy could see a lot of play. But it's all contingent on whether or not, 1, you want to burn those weapons, 2, if you have weapons in your hand at all, and 3, if everyone's running huge minions, people are going to start running BGH again and make this guy basically useless. He's going to burn those things from your hand, and then he's dead the next turn. Another Death Revenant. Icebreaker. 3 mana, 1/3 Shaman Weapon. Destroy any frozen minion damaged by this. So, Shaman's got a couple of new freeze cards in their arsenal. This card could be really good. I honestly think that Envenom Weapon is a little better. It's a little more flexible, because then you just have it. With this one, you have to freeze something. You have to have this card in your hand, as well as freezes. Like, there's a lot of stuff to jumble around. Three rares. Oh, well, 2 of them are the same. Come on, guys. Ben Brode, please. Where's my legendaries? At least give me one more. I got so many Strong Shell Scavengers. I deserve at least one more legendary. Really? Really? Come on, Blizzard. Another Ice Walker. We're getting a bunch of these guys, which is good. Another Happy Ghoul. Am I honestly out of cards to talk about? Get out of here. Simulacrum. 3 mana mage spell. Copy the lowest cost minion in your hand. So I could see this definitely being used for some pretty cool combos, especially with the Sorcerer's Apprentice, Mage Apprentice. The 3/2 that lowers cards. But yeah, this could probably be really good, but not really good. That's too much of an overstatement. This card is okay in my opinion. It could be better. Like, it could do something a little different, but what it does is good. And you can keep that Simulacrum. Two more rares that I already have. There we go. Prince Valinar. 4 mana, 4/4. Battlecry. If your deck has no 4-cost minion or no 4-cost cards, gain lifesteal and taunt. There's a lot of really good 4-cost class cards across all the classes. This card is a little clunky. Really? That's my other legendary. Thanks, Blizz. Who knows? I could be proven wrong. In the upcoming weeks, that could be the strongest card of the set. I don't know. You're just going to have to do a lot of playtesting. Shadow Essence. 6 mana priest spell. Summon a 5/5 copy of a random minion in your deck. So there's definitely some combos you can pull off with this. Kind of like with Barnes, how he would summon the 1/1. This summons a 5/5, and you could just get a lot of value, or you could get something really crappy. It really depends on just the roll of the dice here. However, the fact that it's a 5/5 means that it has instant value on the board in terms of being a body. 5/5 is nothing to scoff at. 5/5 can kill any of these other cards that I just drew in this pack. Another legendary. Thank you. I finally get to talk about the new Death Knight cards. Or at least this one. 9 mana mage hero card. Frost Lich Jaina. You gain 5 armor when it's played. You get the battle cry, summon a 3/6 water elemental, and your elementals have lifesteal for the rest of the game. So that's a lot of value for 9. 9 again, really clunky spot, but hey, you know what? It's a really powerful card. You also get a hero power, replaces your old hero power of deal 1 damage. The new one still deals 1 damage, but if you kill something with it, it now becomes, you summon a 3/6 water elemental to your side of the board. So more elemental synergy, that's more lifesteal, it's a lot of sustain. They have freeze, like, control, mage, please happen. I really want to see this card be played by a lot of people. Not oversaturated, I mean, but just, please. I like control, if you haven't noticed. Another Doomed Apprentice. Meat Wagon. 4 mana 1/4. Death Rattle, summon a minion from your deck with less attack than this minion. So unless you get some buffs on this bad boy, it's not going to be doing a lot for you, especially on 4 mana, which is kind of a critical turn in both Standard and Arena. Meat Wagon. I don't know. I feel like unless you're running cards in your deck like a Paladin class to specifically buff it and make sure that it's good and it gets value when it dies, then it's a good card, but otherwise, not the best. Two more of those guys. Another one of those shallow grave diggers. Now we've seen all these guys. Come on. 3 more packs. Dead Man's Hand, 2 mana warrior spell. Shuffle a copy of your hand into your deck. Control warriors, this is the card that you guys need. Because if you have 2 of these in your deck, and you have 1 of them in your hand when you play Dead Man's Hand, you can go infinite. You can just keep going. You can never run out of cards. You just wait until you draw the next Dead Man's Hand, shuffle the 2 of them back into your deck, or the one that was still in your hand when you play the other one. Infinite value, infinite cards. Toxic Arrow, 2 mana hunter spell. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If it survives, give it poisonous. Now this is very flexible removal. This card, you either kill something straight out, deal 2 damage to it to kill it instead, or you can deal 2 damage to something that you control that'll survive, that won't necessarily kill the bigger taunt minion or whatever you're trying to kill initially with its attack. Give it poisonous, and then you can take it out. That's really good. That's really, really flexible. I like the design of this card. Alright, last pack. What do we got? Okay, so 2 things to talk about here. Rogue minion, 4 mana, Runeforge Haunter. During your turn, your weapon doesn't lose durability. I think that's a really interesting card. You can build up this really powerful weapon, maybe get it down to its last durability, and then drop this guy down, boom, it still has at least 1 more hit left in it. Definitely a cool card. The problem with it is that means that you want to, aside from just maintaining value in your 1/1 rogue weapon, if you're building like a Exodia weapon deck where you're just putting all these cool things on your weapon, just buffing it, making it huge, if that becomes the meta, people are going to run oozes. And oozes will just ruin your day, and then if that's the win condition for your deck, you just flat out lose. But definitely a cool card. I think it's one of those ones you need to look out for. And Treachery, 3 mana Warlock spell. I really like this card. Choose a friendly minion and give it to your opponent. When I was talking about Ticking Abomination earlier, you can use this on Ticking Abomination, kill that, and then kind of do 5 damage, nearly wipe your opponent's board. You can do it with Doomsayer. Automatic wipe the next turn when it goes right back to him. Like, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with this card. I really want to see the interactions coming up with it. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed my pack opening and my little reviews of the epics, the rares, and the legendaries that I pulled. I will be doing a lot more Knights of the Frozen Throne stuff in the near future, so stay tuned for that. And as always, keep it duck and classy. Take it easy, guys.